Hello everyone, Russell Wright, networkempire.com. I'm here with Matt DeCruz for the Tech Foundation webinar launch. I'm so glad that all of you are bright and early, and hopefully you're well caffeinated if you drink coffee, and if you don't, I hope you're ready to jump right in. In this first webinar, we meet and greet. This is really about making sure you understand what it is that you need to be doing and what you need to have in place before we begin. This is an intensive 8-week boot camp, and we will be having webinars every Thursday, same bat time, same bat cave, unless of course otherwise determined. We let everybody know. If you have not been added to the Technical Foundation Skype group, please do contact me at ThemeZoom, which is the handle on Skype, where I can add you to the Technical Foundation in case you have questions. That is another place that Matt and I, and sometimes Sue, do add information and updates. And looks like we have pretty much everybody coming in. I will be manning, as Matt speaks, I will be manning the question window. If you have any, I'll do my best to answer them. And with no further ado, let's jump right in. Matt DeCruz is obviously, I hope you know who he is. He's an IT business process expert, profit engineer. He does a lot of the development. He's one of the primary co-inventors and software developers for the Domain Web Studio NE Silo Empire Builder for WordPress and other sites, other types of processes. It's a very powerful application which you'll be learning a little bit about, along with all of the other systems that we have. So thank you so much, Matt. Let's just jump right in.
Great, thanks, Russ. Yes, hi, welcome, guys. My name is Matt DeCruz, and I'll be taking you guys through this process over the next 8 weeks. And basically, what we're going to cover over the 8 weeks is the building blocks that you need to start setting up your network. So, we call Network Empire, and what we focus on building is evergreen network-based systems that are socially aware. Okay, so what we're going to be doing in this course is, over the next 8 weeks, we're going to build the first building block, and we're going to take you through our stackable system, and we're going to walk you through all the processes to actually set up the WR1, WRS1 ring. So I just want to ask you guys a question before I start. How familiar are you guys with our products? Can you guys give me a 1 if you're pretty familiar with what we do and what goes on in Network Empire, or give us a 2 if you're new and you're not familiar with what we're doing?
Okay, looks like everybody is somewhat familiar. Yeah, it looks like everybody's pretty clear. So everybody's pre-trained for the most part.
Great. Right, guys, so, can you give me a 1 if you can see my screen, if it's nice and clear for you guys? What I'm looking at is essentially just the home screen of the Technical Foundations process. Okay, and this screen and this part of the course, this gives us the top level overview of what we're going to learn, and it's where we're going to keep all the webinars. And as I make updates to the framework and things change in the way we build and set things up, this is going to be the area where we're going to always make the changes, so the information is always going to be here. Okay, so we're constantly working to refine this and make it better, better, and better, so that it can start fitting into your business processes as you guys work on. Okay, so I just want to look at the top level stuff here and give you a quick tour of what we're going to be doing. In week 1, success tree definition. What you're going to do this whole week is you're going to think about what it is that you're selling. So if you don't have a product or a service that you want to sell now, this week is the week that you've got to find it, and basically just follow success tree definition, find your product, think about what it is, find out how much profit you're going to make, and then what we're going to do when we have our chats this week coming, I'll sit and talk to you about your product and get you prepped and ready for when we're going to week 2, where we start doing the solutions to the pain. And this is where Russell's going to basically talk us through concepts where we can really look at how to best position our product, and more importantly, is the product actually a good product to sell? Okay, so with the stackable system and the framework we're going to learn, we're going to go through defining our product, we're going to find the pains in the market, we're then going to do our market analysis, and this is where we're going to basically teach you guys how to use Kraken. We're going to talk about TLKT a little bit, we're going to look at any silo builder, and we're going to start giving you guys a very clear way of actually distinguishing between market analysis, and this is where you actually look at the market and how it's segmented, and more importantly, how the money flows through the market, and then number two, how to actually take these keywords and think about how to use these words when actually building out your site. And then number three part of it is the competitors. How strong are the guys we're up against? What do we actually do? What considerations should we think about when we're actually approaching a market? Okay. So then weeks 3 to 5 is basically when we start rolling up our sleeves and start building our site. And that's where we're going to actually set up the site, the framework. And what we've done for you guys is we've developed the WR1 framework, which is a modular system that we developed to help you conceptualize firstly what we're building, but more importantly to give you a systematic process you can repeat time and time again as you build out your sites. Before I carry on any more, did you guys actually get what I just said there in that first part? Are you guys clear on what we're going to do in the first 3 weeks? Or would you like me just to reiterate on it a little bit more? Just give me a 1 if you guys are clear with that. I see someone's lost sound. Okay.
Yeah, there's a thunderstorm in Florida, so Mitch is having some difficulty, but I'll let him know there's a replay.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Right. So, guys, once we start working through our framework in week 3 to 5, in a process, what we're going to essentially do is we're going to build out a WR1 site. We're going to set up the content, and we're going to build it out one site per week. Okay. And the reason why we're doing this is in this build process, we want to try and get our website up live as soon as possible, okay, so that the bots can start coming in. And basically what we're telling you in week 1 is basically get your domain and set up your first landing page with your buy button now. So you just have one page up on your domain. That's going to be your goal for basically week 1, but I'll come back to that shortly. Okay, week 5, we're going to basically focus more on site architecture, site design, talk you through all that process. Week 6, we're going to talk about how to increase your reach, and this is where we take you up through the whole one feed setup. So you actually get to see how we set up the whole one feed, and we're going to explain it to you in a lot more detail. And in week 7, we've got it as launch your site and get indexed. By week 7, essentially you want to have everything set up, and this is where we start doing our soft tests, and we start watching the rankings and seeing what's happening as we start changing things on the site. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys really cool ways to really optimize your site, how to look at your web pages in a 3D fashion so that we can actually reduce the size of the pages. We're going to start speaking about CDNs at that point in time, where we start optimizing the page speeds and getting sites loading really fast, and the benefits of using CDNs. And then basically in week 8, this is where we're testing and measuring the traffic. We actually want to measure the traffic that's coming in. We want to make sure that it's actually converting. We want to make sure that our email opt-in lists are actually communicating effectively. So from what you can see through the structure here, we're going through the whole build process of creating the WR1. Okay. Now, who of you guys are familiar with what the WR1 is? Do you guys understand the whole concept of the web ring? Could you give me a 1 if you're clear on that?
All right, so everybody should be aware of a couple of basic process maps that's available for you. We've got everything in here. You can visit one web ring to rule them all. If for some reason you're unfamiliar with the network concept. And we have several other more expanded versions of the same process map, including mynetworkempire.com, and these are all great process maps for you to look at, and I'll be dropping them here for you shortly in the window, just to make sure you're familiar with the ring system, because this course is primarily focused on the WR1, and that's what Matt was talking about in terms of your product, and we go through your pain of the product and how to set up the site properly. Because without a WR1, as you move forward with other classes, and other mastermind pre-certification trainings, you need to have your WR1 first, and that's why we want to emphasize the need for a product. And let's do that now. How many of you in this course right now, just give me a 1 if you have a product in mind, or you have something you're going to be working with, or 2, you do not even have a product yet in terms of your online process map. Give me a 1.
Seems like all the guys have got 1 at Russ.
Just give me just a second. Some of them have not responded to that. Okay. I guess everybody does have a product. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Go ahead, Matt.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So can you see the rings I have here, guys? We're focusing on this WR1 here in red, and we're focusing on the WRS1, okay? And typically, the WR1, we call it the transaction engine. This is your money site. This is where you have your corporate ID, it's your brand, it's your business, it's where you sell your product or products and services. And then WRS1, this is your social web ring, and this is what we essentially call the broadcasting engine. This is what you broadcast with. You communicate out. This is your shout box. And what's going to happen is we're going to take you through setting this up properly and creating this foundation and getting this foundation strong for the whole web ring. So when you move on into other courses like Ross has just told us, like when we do the Tech Foundation 2 where we're dealing with traffic, essentially we're dealing with the WR2s, WRS2, and then in the WR1s we're looking at more advanced analytics. Okay, we're looking at how to track and analyze stuff in more detail, how to manage your traffic, how to optimize it, how to work on your conversions and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so in this course, WR1, WRS1 is our focus. One thing I want to say to you guys when you start this process, don't get caught up in all the detail, okay? Don't stress if you don't get it right the first time, okay? This is the whole thing about this process, is that it's a cycle that you repeat over and over and over until you've actually built up all your products, and you're constantly refining, optimizing, and fine-tuning this engine from the time you start. So that's why we start off with our landing page, put our buy button on it, then we create our first silo, route the content, go back around, mark research, create a second silo, and so we go round and round and round. Okay, so don't get caught up in the details. If you get stuck, hop onto Skype. I'm going to give you guys all my Skype details. Most of you have got it already. Just ask me a question as soon as you can. Okay, we'll go through the hours that we actually do Skype calls and stuff with it at the end of the call. But if you're stuck, go to the group, place your question there, or if it's private, send it directly either to myself. Russ, can the guys Skype you, or how do you feel about that? I am the primary source, guys. Skype me first. But if it's a marketing-related question, especially weeks 2 and 3, just ask Russ about the marketing stuff. If it's technical, bold design, opt-ins, and all that kind of stuff, speak to me. If it's marketing related, speak to Russ.
And of course, if there's an urgency or something like that, come into the Tech Foundation training room, and Matt and myself and sometimes other staff members are monitoring that room. And of course, you can contact me directly. We have all of our coaching students are very special to us. You guys have taken pretty huge steps to ensure your success online, so we're here for you in either case. We just also want to let you know what our specialties are. Definitely mine is primarily neuromarketing and how to integrate copy, description, and persuasion architecture into the silo architecture and the more technical structures that will be Matt will be showing you how to integrate. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay, excellent, good.
Okay. Mitch asked, is there a replay? Yes, Mitch, we'll record every single call. If you go back into the course and you actually look, let me just roll this page back. When it loads, you'll see at the bottom of the page we've got the webinar archive. We have every single season that we've done, we have the webinar archive available with all the actual calls. Okay, so you can see it over here. Can you guys give me one if you can actually see it? This is the link to the actual coaching area. I'm going to throw it into the chat window for all of you guys. That's where the Technical Foundation coaching area is, okay? And when we click on the webinar archive, over the next few weeks, we're actually going to break these up into weeks and separate out all the webinars. At the moment, they're all on one page, so it could take a few moments to load, okay? So under the webinar archive, you can actually see the whole process, what tech are we selling. When we go through that, it takes you through all the steps we're going to do. There we go. There's week 1. I've broken it up already. Every single week's broken up. So depending, if you've been in Tech Foundation before, like we told you guys, you've got lifetime access to this course. So if there's a particular week that you're not clear on, like say for example, let's talk about market analysis and using Kraken, then what you want to do is you want to look at the index on your left here, okay, and you can see the week that you got the area in. You can then scroll down to the week 3, which is market analysis. Click on that link, and that's going to open up the library of all our webinars. And all these webinars are great. They are really, really good. That's why we keep in the archives, because every single time we go, we reiterate and we go through the program, and there's often a different angle on it, but also the questions that come back from the webinars are often really, really good. Okay, so there you can see we've got all March, all the webinars we've done. This is all focusing just on Kraken, and we're looking at a live case study called SASE. It's for a real world business. We're going to constantly refer back to this website as we're dealing with this, so you can actually see certain elements. This site's changing all the time, so you may see certain things in the video, but when you come back, it probably will change. But SASE is going to be the live case study where we can look at analytics, we can look at reports, we can look at rankings, we can look at pages, and we can sort of make correlations, and you guys can ask me questions about that site and the reasons why we've done certain things when we go through the process. Okay, tools. What tools do you need for this? Okay, if you got the basic Any subscription, that's the cheapest version, you'll get automatic access to the Any Lite version, and that allows you to build it one site. For this process, we're going to drill out your keywords. Okay, so in week 2, 3, we're going to start speaking about keywords, and we're going to ask you for the keywords you believe that define your market. We will then go out and pre-drill Kraken for you. You'll get a, is it a 3-day pass to Kraken, or is it 7 days? I can't remember.
Currently it's a 3-day pass. But one thing I want to point out, what Matt was just saying, is that included in this is a done-for-you drill in Kraken. So even if you didn't have any of the tools, you have that immense value. That's, I think, $500 or $700 what we charge done for you. So we pull your keywords. Once you provide Matt with the keywords that are related to your product, we talk over that with you, and then we actually provide the first drill for vertical market online analysis. So that should help you guys right away.
Yeah. So what we'll do for you guys is we'll go into your market to drill out the keywords, get the basic framework set up for you, and then when you come into Kraken, you got most of the most important keywords already pre-drilled for you. So then for the 3 days, you can look at those keywords, you can look at the white papers, you can look at the main authority of the sites, you can see who your competitors are, you can see how much value the keywords have, and then when you're playing with it over the next 3 days, you can actually drill deeper down into your market to things that are more important and stand out to yourself. And what we'll do is then we'll export out the CSV files from that, and then I'll take you into Any, which is the Any silo builder, and we'll actually start building your site out. I'll show you how to do that.
Also, take to the Technical Foundation Skype chat room. If you have questions on specific products, or you're wondering if you need this tool or that tool, because of the done-for-you stuff that Matt has added to this, there's an immense amount of work done for you in this first process. So just ask, and if you want to know where things are located, sometimes people like to go extra and like buy a Kraken subscription and this and that. So just talk about it with us and ask first, so there's no confusion.
Yeah. Don't be scared to ask questions, guys. Just ask in the group. Most of the people will tell you where it is that are already in the group as well, but we will get back to you. What's great about this whole thing, the reason why we do the market analysis for you, is because when we look at Kraken's not a keyword tool, it's a market analysis tool, and it's looking at it from a vertical level. So we got a top-down overview of all the keywords that are important. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys how to take the keywords, look at those markets, and then understand how these markets are all connected. Because every market's got a specific life cycle around it, and there's a lot of opportunities that can be found just by looking at these keywords in a specific way. So we're going to go through that whole process of how to actually understand what the market's saying, where are the places we can make money within that market, and how we can make money, and then how we integrate it into our site structure. Okay, so for tools, you don't need anything at the moment. You can have access to Network Empire Silo Builder. You can have access to the Kraken. We're going to download the data, give you all the exports that you need, and then we're going to start having our one-to-one chats, and we're going to start talking about the initial things that you've got to do when you start working with this. Okay. Do you guys have any questions or things that you're not clear about at this point in time?
All right, doesn't like we have a lot of questions. All right, so that's really, this first launch webinar is just getting to know the process and getting you all set up and making sure that you're in the Skype group, giving the overview. I'm really, really excited about this course. Just before we go, if you guys would do this for me, just type a one-word description in the help window of what your product or market that you're in is actually all about. That just gives Matt and myself just a quick super overview of what market you're actually doing.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, yeah, everybody just type something simple. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a paragraph description. Just what's the market that you're in. Thanks, Eleanor. I got that. Okay, Mark Elliott. Okay, great. And we'll keep that. Thank you, Bill. Dan Scott, it's good to see you here. All right, excellent. That's everybody. All right, that gives us a nice overview of the markets that we're going to be dealing with and kind of gives Matt and I a sneak peek of what we're going to be drilling in your verticals. So,
Bob, this voice over IP, are you guys dealing with anything to do with telecommunications, or is it actually just a package you're selling?
Yeah.
So that's quite an interesting one.
Yeah, it is. And that's, again, the specific product we'll go through, look at all that and everything. All right, I think that's enough for today. And you know what to do. You know where to reach us. And I'm really excited about working with each and every one of you. I know Matt is as well. And we do have, Matt, the webinars are every Thursday, same time that we launched this one, right, which is 11 o'clock Phoenix time. And so everybody mark your calendar for this time, in your time zone for this exact period. And this is when we'll continue to do this for this entire process. Anything else, Matt, you want to add?
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to be doing, setting up a diary system so we can actually book in your times. I'll drop that link into the group tomorrow for all the new students. This is where you can start booking your first hour consult with me, where we'll just have a chat. So during this week one process, if I could have a chat with each one of you, this is just to hear about your product, start getting things prepared, answer any questions, talk a bit about your business, what you want to sell, what are your ideas, get to know you a little bit. So tomorrow I'm going to put the link into the Skype chat group, so keep an eye out for it. I'm in South Africa, so I'm about 8 hours ahead of the US at the moment. Or
right.
Close to 10 probably. So I'm always going to be in the future from where you're at.
Yes, exactly.
So when you wake up in the morning, you'll see the link, and then that's where you'll go, and you're actually booking the slots, and then we'll have a diary of exactly who's going to get dealt with at what point in time, and it keeps things much more structured.
Exactly. All right, you guys. Anything else, Matt?
No, just wanted to welcome you guys. So just go look at week one for us. You can watch the webinars, or you can even just go to week one, read through that. That's going to give us give you an idea of the type of questions we're going to speak about when I start talking to you this week.
Yes.
And you can start preparing your thoughts. So when we get to our chats, at least you've got a good idea of what you want to do, and it'll just help us help you get to where you need to be faster.
Yes, and also as you begin to do a quick overview and just parse through the modules and get an overview and familiarize yourself with the weeks, put your product and service, keep your product and service in mind, just superficially as you go through that, because we'll start to refine that, and that'll help you kind of get oriented in what you're doing. For those of you who put your products and services and verticals and niches on here, which one of you, if you're an affiliate, can you please put a 1 so that Matt and I know the difference, know which ones of you are affiliate marketers, meaning you do not own your product and are getting a cut off of affiliate links. Okay. All right, good. That's good to know. Thanks, Bill. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close this call. Thank you, Matt. And we will see all of you in the Skype room and on the one-on-one coaching, and, of course, this upcoming Thursday for the next module. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll speak to you soon.